Work it, make it, do it, makes us
Coming to you from the Evil Monkey Arcade, it's Dustin with another episode of Dustin Recommends, and this time it's going to be a Dustin Recommends reading! Yes! It's reading Rainbow within this bitch right here! So, today's novel I'm going to recommend is Ready Player One. Now, don't want to spoil too much. I will give you a brief little plot outline, ease of readability, and my final conclusion here in just a second. But, just wanted to let you guys know, this is a book not really for gamers, but if you grew up in the 80s, like most of us did who are on here, and I'm not talking about you kiddos who claim to be an 80s kid when you were born in frickin' 88 and don't remember it. You know who you are. You have actually got to have some freaking memories of some good times, doing something. The damn original Ninja Turtles cartoon, for Christ's sake. So, yeah. Don't pose. Admire, don't pose. But anyway, let's get back on subject. So, we're going to talk about Ready Player One. And first off, the plot. The plot of Ready Player One centers around a extremely eccentric guy who basically created a MMO, which is in gamer jargon multiplayer online game. MMOPR acronyms, not good with the lips and the talking, but you understand. So, what this is basically evolved and taken over the internet, really. People actually use this system, which is called Oasis now, to game, to go to work, to go to school. So, you can be whoever you want in there. Now, there are a few rules that you have to use your actual name if you're going to school or something like that. But you can create your own persona, which is another really cool thing that kind of brings to light an identity issue on who you believe you are. And yeah, I'll get into that just a little bit later. But anyway, the guy that wrote this was just a really... James Halliday was an extremely smart guy, and he did this, and he ended up dying a hermit, or not a hermit, but like an eccentric, had no heirs, and he left a clue on his deathbed. It went out to everybody whoever had an Oasis account, which was everybody, that he had left an Easter egg in the Oasis. And that this Easter egg, whoever found it, would be given his fortune, which amassed in the millions. Now, one thing that's so interesting is Halliday was extremely obsessed with 80s culture. Games, movies, music, TV shows. And he sprinkled little clues on the how to get to the Easter egg using this. So in effect, he has basically brought a completely and totally new life to 80s culture in 2044. It becomes all the popular things, all the 80s stuff are now popular again. People trying to find this Easter egg. Well, it goes on. 5 years later, no one's really found it. People are starting to believe it's not there. When one kid stumbles on it, or stumbles on a clue that sets off the search again. Now, if that's not interesting enough for you, I don't know what is. But that should have hooked you right there, especially if you're a gamer, a geek, a nerd, like myself. But still. This book was easy to read. They do throw out a few technical jargon at you, but they explain it. It's not like something that's like, oh, you've got to get the gigahertz into the into the RAM. What? Now, certain people in computers would know what hell they were talking about. Other people would think they're just making up words. But this, they explain it. It's a very fleshed out world. They don't leave you hanging on, what was that again? Most of the things you're going to be wondering about and looking up will be the 80s references. And trust me, there are a ton of them in this book. This is, ton of them in this book. So you've really got to check that out. Final conclusion. Will you enjoy this book? You will enjoy this book if 1. You grew up in the 80s. 2. You are a geek or a nerd or heavily into old school retro gaming. Or 3. You just like a good read. Yeah. So again, highly recommended. Dustin recommends Ready Player One. And with that, this is Game Over.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. More than power.